This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Please remember to use my code NIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Before going into the video, please take a second to click that like button. Let's set a goal of leaving at least 200 likes to this video. And we're on the road to getting 8,000 subscribers to this channel, so please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for all of your support, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content I put out in this channel. In today's video, I'll be showcasing Alakazam EX from the Scarlet Violet 151 expansion set. Alakazam EX is a stage 2 Pokemon with 310 HP. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Mind Jack. For 2 colorless energy, it deals 90 plus damage, and an additional 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So if their bench is full, this attack can deal as much as 240 damage. And its second attack I think has the most unique mechanic in the game right now. For 2 psychic energy, Dimensional Hand deals 120 damage. However, you can use this attack even if this Pokemon is on the bench, which is pretty crazy. So my whole strategy for this build is to use these Pokemon to wall off your opponent's attacks, while Alakazam EX continues to attack from the bench. First, I have this new Weezing with the Let's Have a Blast ability. If this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out by damage from an attack, you flip a coin, and if it is heads, the attacking Pokemon is knocked out. With a successful coin flip, this ability can easily even out the playing field, and your opponent will think twice before knocking out this Pokemon. It can also attack with Spinning Fumes. For 2 colorless energy, it deals 50 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and 10 damage to all of their benched Pokemon. This is actually a really nice damage spreader. Next is MIMIKYU with the Safeguard ability. This basically negates any attack damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon EX or Pokemon V. And when going against Lost Zone engines, I also have KLEFKI with the Mischievous Lock ability. This turns off the abilities of all basic Pokemon in play for both players. This should slow down Comfey or Cramorant. As for the other cards worth noting, to slow down our opponent further, I'm also using Path to the Peak Stadium. This will shut down the abilities of all rule box Pokemon in play. This will not affect us that much since Alakazam EX does not rely on abilities. And finally, I added 1 copy of the new Giovanni's Charisma. Remove 1 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, put it back to their hand, and then you can attach any 1 energy from your hand to your active Pokemon. This build is a bit gimmicky in my opinion, but for any builds that has no counters against it, you may just be able to win by walling off your opponent. Sure, your opponent may have a boss orders, sure they have escape rope or cross switchers, but it doesn't matter because they don't have a cool Pokemon that can attack from the bench. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Alakazam EX. Alright, on to our first match. We're going to start with an Abra in the active spot. We won the coin flip, so we are going first in this matchup. We have a Bibarel, which is a good sign. Nest Ball to get our Bidoof. You definitely want to set up your consistency Pokemon early on in the game. That way you can continue to draw extra cards later on, and Path to the Peak could help us out here depending on our matchup. And it's a Miraidon EX. Yeah, Path to the Peak could help here. Got a basic energy from our top deck. I'm going to just set up my Bidoof first with this Nest Ball. And then we're gonna play Path to the Peak, put an energy to Abra, and then hopefully my opponent will not be able to attack their turn since Path to the Peak is there. Maybe they can't set up any attackers that could knock out our Abra, but I'm going for an Ultra Ball here because we can draw extra cards next turn anyways, and then I'm gonna go for Coughing. If we can evolve into a Weezing next turn, that would be great. So I'm just gonna pass. Hopefully my opponent will not be able to attack on their first turn going second, but unfortunately they have another stadium to bump out our stadium, and their Beach Court will reduce the basic Pokemon that's in the active spots retreat cost by 1, so we can actually retreat our Abra for free. But what I'm afraid of here is if they can set up an attacker. So Raikou V is very dangerous here. If they have Electric Generator, they can possibly accelerate energies to Raikou V and just knock out our Abra. But it's interesting to see though that they have Zapdos EX as well. So that's really nice to see new cards. Now that we have a new expansion set, it's really nice to see other Pokemon in the ladder, because Now you have to change up your strategy because you have these new Pokemon that you have to deal with, including the Alakazam EX that we're using today. So fortunately, my opponent could not find an electric generator to power up their attacker. So let's just go ahead and evolve into our Bibarel and then Industrious Incisors for 4. We didn't draw into really good cards here, but I'm just going to retreat my Abra, keep it to safety, and Manaphy I don't think will be as useful this turn, and I'm just gonna boss their Mareep. Although that's probably not a good move because they have Beach Court. They can just easily retreat Mareep anyways into their other Pokemon. So let's see what my opponent does here. Lightning Energy to their Raikou V, so now they can attack this turn. We have a rare candy. All we need is an Alakazam EX and an energy. We can start attacking, and then all we need to do is probably wall off my opponent. If we can get a Mimikyu, that would be awesome. They evolve into a Flaffy, so now they can accelerate energies from their discard pile to their bench Pokemon. And they evolve their Regieleki VMAX, so now their basic lightning Pokemon's attacks are increased by 30 damage. They knock out a Manaphy, that they get their first prize, but hopefully they're top decking at this point. Although Raikou V has an ability that helps them to draw extra cards. Let me actually get Mimikyu, and then that way we can wall off their attacks for the meantime. And I'm gonna go ahead and use Super Rod here to just thin out my hand, recover Manaphy, and we're just gonna draw 3 cards with Industrious Incisors. Alright, we got Mesagoza. Let's go ahead and replace their Stadium with ours, and then hopefully we get heads. Nice. Okay, cool. So now we can actually get an Alakazam EX. We have rare candy, so we can evolve. We have an energy, so this is perfect. Okay, cool. We can start attacking this turn now, and then hopefully we can draw into a Weezing with Professor's Research. There it is. Now our active will be able to hopefully take down our opponent's attacker, and we're just gonna attack with Dimensional Hand, dealing 120 damage to their active Pokemon, even though Alakazam EX is on the bench. And yeah, Alakazam EX I think is one of the most unique cards in the format right now. It's the only Pokemon in the game that can attack from the bench, and the only thing that you have to do is basically wall off your opponent. And Weezing is one of the perfect match I think for this Alakazam EX build, and the Pokemon Company actually recommends this combination, so I'm just trying it out. Mimikyu is good too, and KLEFKI. I only have one of those two because it's not, there's really a lot of ways around it, you know, boss orders like I said, and escape rope, so I'm not relying too much on those two, but really good cards to have. Weezing though can take down a lot of Pokemon when it is knocked out. So checking out this Zapdos EX, Multi-Shot Lightning deals 120 damage and then 90 damage to our bench. Not too worried about our bench right now. Mimikyu can negate that attack, although Abra could get knocked out. So we might need Manaphy in this matchup after all, just to protect our bench. I just don't want them chipping away at our bench Pokemon and later on dealing a knockout blow. And they're also prepping their Flaffy, definitely anticipating an attack against our Mimikyu. But Zapdos EX goes in the active spot now. They're going to be able to attack for 120. That's going to knock out our Weezing, deal 90 damage to our bench Pokemon. But before that, we have Let's Have a Blast. Hopefully we can get heads here, take down this Zapdos EX. Oh, unfortunately, we got Tails, so we failed that. Weezing, you have one job, come on. Well, we have another one that we can set up, so hopefully we could have been even in the price exchange, because that would have been able to take down the Zapdos EX along with that knockout, but didn't happen. But we're gonna go with it.
We have another chance to set up another Weezing. Maybe we can get a knockout. We got heads with this Mesagoza, so I'm gonna go for another. Hold on, let's go get Manaphy first, because yeah, 90 damage is pretty significant. They could knock out our Abra. Gonna use Iono. Okay, we got a Kadabra. Alright, we can evolve our Abra. Then we can set up Coughing with these Nest Ball. Really nice. So now, let's evolve into Kadabra. Use Industrious Incisor. We can draw one. KLEFKI, okay. Not as important in this matchup. And then we're just gonna Dimensional Hand 120 to their active Zapdos EX. So, fun fact, Kadabra actually was removed from the Pokemon TCG and I think video games as well, because there has been a legal dispute about that. But it's well and good now after so many years that the evolution line of Alakazam EX, finally Abracadabra Alakazam, is finally complete. So I added a Giovanni's Charisma in this deck as disruption. Actually, it's a really good disruption if played the right way. You can remove an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, then you can accelerate your own from your hand to your active Pokemon. So that's there for that. And yeah, it could slow down your opponent, especially if they have to continue to attach an energy from their hand to their attacker. So we're still not knocking out their Raikou V, because we're only dealing 240 damage. But yeah, I don't know how much that's gonna do us, but at least we can accelerate one energy, and that's gonna thin out our hand so we can draw 2 extra cards and still be able to attach a card. So we can attack with Weezing even. Might as well attach an energy to it. And then let's see what we can get with this Mesagoza. Alright, Tails. Yeah, we have one more. We can evolve into another Alakazam if we need to, but we don't really need to evolve it unless we want it to attack. So we're just gonna attack with Dimensional Hand, leaving Raikou V with a single HP left, or 10 HP. 10 HP or 1 damage counter left to keep it alive. I can even use Weezing to attack and knock it out for bench damage, even if they retreat with it. So they're gonna retreat, attack with Flaffy, although it's only dealing 50 damage, so we are safe. And that's gonna leave our Mimikyu alive. And since Flaffy only has 90 HP, we can knock it out with our Alakazam EX. Keep our Weezing in the active spot, and yeah, continue to attack with it, I guess. And then if my opponent knocks it out, we can possibly get 2 prizes if it is knocked out. So the coin flip aspect of Weezing is a little bit I mean, it's RNG based, so 50%. Let's just go ahead and set up our Alakazam EX for now. I don't think there's any way my opponent can one-hit knock out our Alakazam EX, so I think it's safe to just leave it on the bench. Then we got Path to the Peak. Don't know how much that's gonna slow down my opponent, but we're gonna just knock out their Flaffy for our first prize. It took long enough, but we're gonna continue to wall off my opponent here and then go from there. So again, my opponent cannot touch our Mimikyu because it is immune to damage from EX or V Pokemon attack. So this is the typical build that a lot of players have been talking about, really. Mimikyu is really strong along with KLEFKI when going against the Lost Box engine, but Weezing is also an option for sure, especially if your opponent's using a lot of multi-prize Pokemon that hits for a lot of damage. If they knock out Weezing, you have a 50% chance of taking along your opponent's active Pokemon. They're gonna retreat because they know they can't touch our Mimikyu, so I'm just gonna go and switch our Weezing in the active spot. Then let's go ahead and use Heavy Ball. There's nothing there. Industrious Incisors for 2. Alright, Energies. Okay. And I'm just gonna use Spinning Fumes. 50 damage to the active and 10 damage to all of their benched Pokemon. That's gonna get us 2 prizes. Got a Palpad and an Arven. Okay. So far so good. If my opponent doesn't have any boss orders, we should be okay, because Raikou V can deal a lot of damage actually. It even has the potential to one-hit knock out our Alakazam EX. And if they manage to do that twice, they can win this game, because they need 4 more prizes to go. But if not, we're just going to continue to take down their Pokemon and win this game. And we have a chance here. Even if they attack with one of their Pokemon, Weezing might be able to take down their attacking Pokemon along with it. Thanks to Manaphy, we protect our Mimikyu, although it is immune to damage. Let's have a blast. Come on, give me heads. Oh, come on, Weezing. You have one job, man. That's 2 for 2. That's 2 for 2 misses, man. So we're going to go with the Mimikyu in the active spot. We're just going to wall off my opponent here for the rest of the game, I guess, because both our recovery items are gone. So we can't recover any more Weezing. Just gonna use Palpad and get boss orders Iono. That could disrupt my hand since they don't have any draw engine. Just gonna use Nest Dash, then draw 4, and then go from there. Okay, alright. Let's go ahead and Iono. That's gonna disrupt my opponent's hand. Hopefully that's gonna take any boss orders from their hand. We got a boss orders of our own though. Keep our Path to the Peak, and then Dimensional Hand knocking out their Zapdos EX, getting us 2 more prizes. And that leaves us with 1. Not too bad, man. That Weezing attack actually helped to reduce Zapdos EX HP to where Alakazam's attack could knock it out. So that's actually really, really nice. So Weezing, I guess Weezing did its job, you know, being able to damage all of our opponent's bench Pokemon. It does help. But the way my build is though, I mean, we have boss orders. We could, we're not dealing enough damage though, but we're pretty much home free, sort of. As long as we can keep our Mimikyu in the active spot. So we're just going to continue to use Dimensional Hand to deal some damage to their active Regieleki VMAX. So we're just going to continue to do that, because if we used our boss to boss one of their Pokemon, they could just retreat it. And then if we run out of boss, we can't knock it out anyway. So they're just going to use Fast Charge. They can't knock out our Mimikyu, and yeah, we're just gonna continue to attack from the bench this way. We can use Giovanni's Charisma to slow down my opponent, and then yeah, Path to the Peak will stay, and then Dimensional Hand. So with this Raikou V set up, all we need to do is use boss orders to knock it out and get the win. Because that Regieleki VMAX still has a lot of HP. Raikou V basically sets us up for the win on our next turn. And even if they knock out one of our Alakazam EX, that's not gonna win them the game, because they still need 3 prizes to go. Escape Rope. I mean, yeah, let's just put Alakazam EX. I don't know if they can knock it out, but even if they do, we will win this game regardless. And okay, it's our turn. Yeah, let's go ahead and use boss orders, get this Raikou V in the active spot, and we're gonna Dimensional Hand for the win. There it is. I can't believe that worked. Although Weezing, the ability didn't do much, but its attack actually made a big difference to this match. So yeah, really good game. Really nice first game. Moving on to our next match. Again, we won the coin flip, so we are going first in this matchup. We're gonna start with the Mimikyu in the active spot. We have a Bidoof. And looks like we're going against a Psychic Fire type. Okay. Very interesting combination of energies. Let's see what we're going up against here. Oh, Lost Zone Engine. Okay. We might actually need KLEFKI in this matchup. Path to the Peak. I don't know how useful that's gonna be in this match, but we're gonna try. Just gonna put an energy to Mimikyu and play Path to the Peak, just in case they have Greninja that could actually save us a little bit of trouble. And I'm going to, I mean, the barrel is good, but we have Iono. But I'm gonna start setting up my Abra, because it is a stage 2. It is a little bit harder to set up Alakazam EX. I'm hoping that with Iono we can draw into a barrel, or at least something to search for it. But yeah, if my opponent can get 4 cards in their Lost Zone, they can attack with Cramorant, which is pretty annoying. But with KLEFKI, we could turn off its ability so it can't attack. And looks like they have a Charizard EX. So this is the Charizard EX Lost Zone variant. Very strong, powerful variant as well, because not only can they use Cramorant, they can also use Sableye to spread damage if they want to. So pretty dangerous, and Mimikyu will not be as effective because they can just go through our defenses. So very troublesome. They have 3 cards on their Lost Zone right now, 2 Cramorants to start attacking with. So very dangerous. If my opponent can get a switching here, no, okay, cool. So we survive a turn. All right, this is a good thing. I'm gonna put an energy to Abra, and I have no choice but to use Iono. That could disrupt their hand as well, or that could help them out. So either or. Okay, we got an Ultra Ball. So let's go ahead and put Coughing on the bench. We have an Ultra Ball. And let's see, I could just get rid of Switch and Basic Energy. I'm gonna get a barrel for sure. We need our Consistency card to draw more cards. And then I could use Super Rod to thin out my hand, recover those 2 energies. And then that way I can draw 4 extra cards with barrel. Okay. We have a barrel already. I could use Ultra Ball to set up another basic Pokemon. Let's go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna go for KLEFKI. And then I could retreat my Mimikyu. And I'm just gonna end my turn. Okay, so here is the thing. Okay, so first of all, they only have 3 cards in the Lost Zone, unless they have Chorus Experiment. They can't have any more. Ah, there's the Escape Rope. Okay, so that's one of the worst things that you could get. I'm gonna put Mimikyu in the active spot. So the thing is, my opponent's gonna put 1 more card in the Lost Zone. Now that's gonna activate Cramorant's attacks. It can attack for free. Jet Energy, dude. Lost Zone has been buffed tremendously. It's just such a powerful engine, man. It's gonna stay alive until it rotates out, you know what I mean? Just really strong. There's a lot of single price Pokemon, great attackers, spread damage, unblockable damage, and then there's a lot of other Pokemon that can match with this, so just really nice. Iono will shuffle our hand. That got his Professor's Research. Super Rod, though, is not good to have on our hand because we can't recover anything. So they're gonna attack with Cramorant, knocking out our Mimikyu. We're just gonna put KLEFKI in the active spot. That's gonna turn off Cramorant's ability so they can't attack with it now. And with a full bench, that should be, we should still be okay. I'm going to get a Squovit. That way we can, I don't wanna have to discard some of these important cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and just recover Mimikyu and basic energy, because if they evolve into Charizard EX, Mimikyu could prove to be useful after all, but that will use up all of our recovery cards. And just gonna use up my pal pad, just using up as much of the cards as I can before I draw any more here. Path to the Peak. Okay, let's go ahead and set up another. Manaphy could be useful because if they have Radiant Greninja, but I'm gonna go for Coughing. I'm going to use Professor's Research and Abra. Okay, Boss Orders. Okay, okay. All we need is an Alakazam. We have one more in the deck, that's for sure. We have Rare Candy. That's the only thing with this build though, because the Weezing line requires 2 evolution cards. We can use Escape Rope. Okay, sacrifice Coughing for now. We have one more. But as I was saying, I only have a 3-1-2 line of Alakazam EX. For the most part, I'm really counting on Weezing to take a knockout with this particular build. Otherwise, I'd have more room for extra Mimikyus and maybe KLEFKIs, but the way this build is designed is a little bit different from what I've seen so far. But yeah, Alakazam EX with Weezing is interesting. That's why I wanted to try it out. But they're gonna take down our Coughing, and like I said, we don't have any more recovery because both are Super Rods. That we only have 2 Super Rods in this deck, so now we can only afford to set up one Weezing and hope to get a knockout with that. But we have yet to set up an Alakazam. Although Alakazam has a lot of HP, so we could slowly just knock out our opponent's single prize Pokemon. But once they set up their Charizard is what I'm worried about, because Alakazam EX is weak against Dark type. But since we have Arven, I'm just gonna get Ultra Ball, sacrifice these 2 because we can't set up any more Alakazam. We can't recover the other ones, so we're relying on one Alakazam EX in this matchup, and Mimikyu just in case they evolve into a Charizard EX. We barrel for 2, got 2 basic energies. I'm gonna start powering up my Coughing just in case, and we're just gonna use Dimensional Hand. Deal 120 damage, enough to knock out their Cramorant, and that's gonna get us our first prize. So my opponent is ahead 2 prizes. Now they're ahead 1 since we got 1. And yeah, we're just waiting for that Charizard EX to evolve. And I think they have the same setup as far as their build goes, because like I said, if you have those stage 2s, it does fill up your bench a huge amount. That's why a lot of effective Lost Zone engines only rely on basic type Pokemon. But they're gonna boss my Mimikyu, anticipating an evolution with a Charizard EX. They have to take out our Mimikyu so that we can't wall off their Charizard EX. And with the Cramorant, they're gonna use Spit Innocently, taking out our Mimikyu. We can't recover that anymore, so now we are reliant on Alakazam. But thankfully, KLEFKI is slowing down my opponent for sure. I'm going to use Iono, dwindle down my opponent's hand to 3 while we draw 5. Okay, we got Weezing, cool. But Weezing doesn't deal enough damage to knock out any of their Pokemon actually, so it's just a little bit sad, but we're gonna try and make it work, right? Draw 2 with Bibarel, and we're just gonna Dimensional Hand 120 for another knockout against their second Cramorant, getting us another prize. Basic energy, okay, cool. So they don't have any other attackers unless they find a Rare Candy and a Charizard EX. they won't be able to attack, and they also have Radiant Charizard to attack with, so that's actually really dangerous. Although it's not dealing a knockout blow, one-hit knockout against our Alakazam EX, so that extra HP on Alakazam EX is actually really good. Okay, cool. So our Iono is working well. As long as we can prevent them from evolving into Charizard EX, I think we should be fine. And for now, I'm just gonna continue to use Dimensional Hand to knock out their active Pokemon. So with KLEFKI in the active spot, they can't use their Comfey to draw extra cards. So that's really good. And Boss's Orders is really, really good. We can target one of their weaker Pokemon. Although this Radiant Charizard has more HP than what we really want, so Alakazam EX will not be able to deal a knockout blow. But they're just gonna pass. Wonder if they have a Decidueye, or not Decidueye. Wonder if they have a Sableye in their deck. That's gonna be a little bit of a problem to spread damage. Could put an energy on KLEFKI just in case we wanted to retreat, but we do have a switch as well. Let's see. I could just use Dimensional Hand, deal 120 damage to the Radiant Charizard. So a single energy will not power up Radiant Charizard. Single fire energy is not gonna help it to attack us. I had 3 prizes. They need two energies to this Radiant Charizard for it to attack. So they still can't attack, dude. That is crazy. And Path to the Peak is even gonna make it worse for our opponent. Switch out this Weezing. We can knock out their Radiant Charizard. Use Iono to disrupt their hand. Maybe they have a rare candy but no Charizard. And we're just gonna continue to disrupt them down to 3 cards on their hand. Draw 2 extra cards with this Bibarel. And we are looking good, guys. Spinning Fumes will knock out their Radiant Charizard. But because of Manaphy, that actually protects their bench from Weezing's damage. So at least we got 1 extra card. That's really good. But we're down to our last copies of Pokemon, basically. We can't set up another Alakazam EX on our bench. No more Weezing. And no more Mimikyu. So we're down to KLEFKI, this Weezing in the active spot. And that's pretty much it. They bump out our Path to the Peak with Lost City. So we are losing our Pokemon permanently, although we can't recover anyways, so I don't know if that makes any difference, but that's alright. We're pretty much a gung-ho here. We're just going with what we have and just being aggressive. They managed to evolve into a Charizard EX. If they can switch out their Comfey, they can attack with it, and then we're relying on Weezing to get us a win here. Otherwise, it's gonna be a problem for us to deal 3 attacks against this Charizard EX. Come on, Weezing, let's have a blast. Please give me heads. That's it. Finally. Finally, Weezing got us a win with that ability. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, that thing has like a 10% chance of being successful, but I'm grateful that we were able to showcase that with a win. Good game.
And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.